The Bone Ring. The storm raged outside as Daniel Thompson sifted through the dust-covered antiques in the dimly lit shop on the outskirts of town. The place smelled of rotting wood and forgotten memories. He loved places like this, where old objects held stories waiting to be uncovered. The shopkeeper, a frail old man with deep-set eyes, watched him in silence, as if waiting for Daniel to make a mistake. That was when he saw it. A ring resting in a cracked wooden box, its band appearing to be made of aged ivory, its surface etched with strange, almost organic patterns. A single deep red gem pulsed at its center as though alive. "How much for the ring?" Daniel asked, mesmerized. The shopkeeper's expression darkened. "Not for sale," Daniel smirked. "Everything has a price." The old man sighed, staring at him for a long moment before speaking. "If you must have it, $50, but it comes with a warning, do not wear it." Daniel shrugged, tossing the money on the counter. He slipped the ring into his pocket and left without another word, stepping into the stormy night. The warning was just a gimmick, he told himself. Some sales trick to make the ring seem more valuable, more mysterious. But even as he thought, the memory of the shopkeeper's grim face sent a shiver down his spine. The first night, Daniel reached his apartment shaking off the rain. As he placed the ring on his nightstand, curiosity gnawed at him. He picked it up, rolling it between his fingers, tracing the intricate patterns carved into the band. It felt unnaturally warm. Before he could stop himself, he slid it onto his finger. A wave of dizziness struck him and his vision blurred. For a split second he saw something impossible. A vast, endless expanse of bone stretching in all directions under a black sky, twisted figures moving in the distance. Then it was gone, and he was back in his room, gasping for breath, shaking. His head, he removed the ring and threw it onto the nightstand. It was just his imagination, he told himself. The power of suggestion. Yet, as he drifted off to sleep, the faint echo of whispers curled around his mind. The haunting begins. The next few days were a blur of unease. Shadows moved where they shouldn't. Doors creaked open on their own. At night, Daniel heard the whispers, growing louder. They came from the ring. Then came the nightmares. Every time he closed his eyes, he was back in that skeletal wasteland, the figures drawing closer. He would wake drenched in sweat, his pulse hammering. One night, he woke to find the ring back on his finger. Heart pounding, he pried it off and hurled it across the room. It clattered against the wall and fell to the floor. He barely slept after that, watching the shadows stretch unnaturally across his ceiling, feeling unseen eyes staring at him in the darkness, seeking answers. Desperate, Daniel returned to the antique shop only to find it boarded up as if abandoned for years. No trace of the old man remained. Panic settled in his chest. He searched online, scoured old archives, and finally came across something. An old folklore site detailing cursed objects. One passage sent a chill through his spine. The bone ring, an artifact of the Nameless Ones, binds itself to the wearer, drawing them closer to the realm of the forgotten dead. There was only one way to break the curse. The ring had to be returned to where it was first taken. The journey Daniel's research led him to an ancient burial site deep in the woods, miles from civilization. He drove there under a blood-red sunset, his heart pounding as he stepped into the darkness of the trees. The deeper he went, the colder it became. Finally, he found it, a crumbling stone altar covered in moss. The moment he stepped near, the air grew thick with whispers. The temperature plummeted. He felt the ring grow hot in his pocket. Shaking, he placed the ring onto the altar. For a moment, silence. Then a shriek. Inhuman, raw, filled with fury. The ground trembled, the trees groaned, and spectral hands clawed out from the shadows, reaching for him. Daniel ran. The forest seemed endless, the trees twisting as if trying to trap him. But he didn't stop. He didn't look back. Not until he reached his car, breathless and shaking. The aftermath. That night, Daniel expected the nightmares to return, but when he woke the next morning, everything was silent. The shadows no longer moved. The whispers were gone. He never saw the ring again. But sometimes in the dead of night he could swear he still heard something, a faint whisper just beyond the edge of hearing, waiting.